welcome to the Social Living Podcast. I am your host, Julian Green. I also have my co-host here, Jamal Lawrence. Jam, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm recovering. We had an event last night. Superdry opened their flagship store on Oxford Street last night. So yeah, still recovering from that. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
That's good. I was gonna say you sound a bit raspy. Like
No,
I don't know, it
yeah,
sounds like you got like a sore throat or something. But I didn't want to say
no, yeah,
anything.
something along those lines. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a hectic day and night yesterday. So yeah, still recovering.
That's good. That's good. That's good, man. That's good to see, man. I see the pictures, man. Super Dry store looks alright. Like the clothes that was in your Instagram post look proper still. It look proper like
I've been
compared to what
saying
I've
this.
seen
Yeah,
compared to what I've
yeah,
been
I've been
seeing on
saying
your
this.
website. Proper.
We're
So
we're
I give
making
you
a comeback.
that's good, man. That's good. That's good. So we've landed here, man, on episode 15. We already know the numbers are gonna get too high. Certain episodes might not have a certain meaning to you, but let's just throw it out there. Like episode 15, the number 15 mean anything to you?
Not, you know what? Nothing comes to mind. I was thinking about this earlier today, and yeah, nothing comes to mind. I'm not sure if anything comes to your mind when you think of the number 15.
The only thing that comes to my mind is my missus's birthday, 15th of November, so I can't forget it. So
Okay, yeah.
that's the only thing that comes out. So, I'll just wish her a happy birthday because the next episode is going to be after that date. So, yeah, we'll just wish her a happy birthday and just say, yeah, happy
Mm,
birthday to the missus,
yeah.
man. So that's it. That's all I got. That's
No,
all I
that's
got.
good.
But what was I gonna say? So, yeah, man. This is a special episode. Another one. I probably say this every episode, but you know what? People just need to get used to that. A lot of things are very special to me. And this one definitely is a special episode. Another family attire, as Jam would say. I'm looking forward to this, man. Like how this episode is called "How to Start a Career in Marketing." So this is specific for people who are maybe in university right now, looking to kind of carve out a career in marketing or interested in starting a career in marketing. And also for people who may already have careers who might want to like transition, especially with some of the news over the last couple of weeks, and you're seeing a lot of like updates from Instagram, TikTok's booming at the moment. Social media itself is just booming, and social media being a small fragmentation of marketing. There's a lot of opportunities out there at the moment, and hopefully this episode will help you kind of understand marketing and how you can get into marketing. And I'd like to kind of introduce the one and only Vanessa Green. So that is blood right here. And yeah, Vanessa Green, marketing and recruitment officer who works within higher education. She's an expert in her field, and she will be dropping a lot of gems today. I'm sure I'm going to be learning loads, and I'm sure Jam's going to be learning loads as well. So, Vanessa, welcome to the podcast.
Hello. That's some introduction. I like that. So thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So, I don't even know where to start. So I guess you start at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So actually, before we do that, let's just talk about quickly like your title that you just mentioned there. So marketing and recruitment officer. Just like, it sounds like you do two things. It sounds like you could be an expert in marketing as well as recruitment as well. Do you just want to give a quick overview in terms of like your job role at this current moment, just so there's like a little bit of clarity there before we kind of go backwards?
Yes. So yes, like you just mentioned, I'm a marketing recruitment officer. And I work in higher education. So I work at a university. So yeah, recruitment kind of sounds more like HR, but it's like completely different. Essentially it just means that I market to prospective students, so students who are interested in coming to university. So the recruitment side is kind of in there more just to kind of, for our numbers, our recruitment numbers. So obviously we have targets and stuff in terms of like how many students we should be recruiting. So yeah, that's kind of about the recruitment side of things. But yeah, my job involves loads of different things. We do a lot of events, so event marketing. So I personally look after the open days for my faculty in particular. So I work for the arts, design and humanities faculty. So that's kind of just the course areas that I kind of look after. So that's like your drama, performing arts, your visual arts, so fine art, photography, also fashion, architecture, interior design, product design, all your art and design courses, as well as your humanities, which is English, history, creative writing, etc. So lots of events, recruitment events, like I said, open days, taster days, interview days, and also there's lots of social media involved within my job as well. There's lots. My job is like so complex. I can't really put it into a sentence, but that's kind of a quick summary.
Yeah, man, that was a lot. Like, I probably wouldn't even say that was I wouldn't even say that was a summary, to be honest. But you know what? I think this might be a little common thing as well. I don't know if you feel the same way, Jam. Like, when you do enter into the world of marketing, roles are not really that straightforward. Like, they can be very complex and they can overlap into multiple different things at the same time. Like, if I, you know, um, if I just like point to one thing with social media, like when we working within social media, it's not like people just think it's just posting. It's like
Mhm.
copywriting. It's also, looking after different consoles. It's creative. It's overall like just direct marketing, it's communication, it's so many different things that get rolled into it, and people don't really understand that kind of what goes on behind just one post. And in terms of Vanessa, it just sounds like it's very similar, just on like working within higher education as well. I'm sure, Jam, yeah, you probably feel the same with your role.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, there's overlaps everywhere. If you think
Mm,
about, for example, you think about Instagram as the main channel within that. So within my job, influencer marketing comes into play, as well as the paid side, so driving revenue and traffic to the website. You've also got, you like you said, you've got copywriting and content creation that comes into it. So it all overlaps. And then, for example, last night I was at an event. So you start looking at the event side, even though the event was physical, social media comes into play, and you get pulled in different directions in terms of organizing an event. So yeah, it definitely overlaps, and yes, I think what makes marketing exciting, because you can always be exposed to new things and in different sectors as well.
yeah, it makes it amazing. I think we could all probably agree in this as well. Like, the opportunities that you can get in marketing and just like meeting a wide variety of different types of people in all walks of life. I think that's probably what makes marketing exciting. I don't know, Vanessa, do you agree with that?
100%. That is probably one of my favorite parts of the job, is that you get to meet so many different people, all different backgrounds, different experience and networking. It's just, yeah, marketing is on, but obviously it's my job, so I do love it. But yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's good. I think yeah, let's take it back to like Vanessa. So you like, at what point would you say you got your interest into marketing? Obviously, I know you, but for those who don't know, like, let's take it back to maybe either secondary school or college, or early university. Like, how did you first, gain your interest into marketing?
Well, I want to start off by saying that I never knew what marketing was until I was probably like 20.
Yeah.
Had no interest in marketing, and I just, it's just not, it wasn't a career path that ever crossed my mind. I think I'd say, like, when I was growing up in school, I was quite academic, so not that marketing's not academic, but I was kind of more focused on like the English, your sciences and all of those kind of subjects, kind of going down a more straightforward career route. I think that's just a whole nother topic though, because I just think that's something that society kind of tells you to do. So I was really like focused on my English, because I really enjoyed writing. I always knew I wanted to be a journalist. That was kind of my aim. So even when I was in primary school, secondary school, I actually used to create a family newsletter that I would hand out to everybody because I just loved it so much. I just loved writing. I loved meeting new people, speaking to new people, interviewing them, hearing their life stories, because I feel like you can learn something from everybody. And it just intrigued me how everyone is so different. Everyone comes from different walks of life. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got into writing. Then it took me to secondary school, and I did an internship. Internship, we probably say work experience. So in year 10, you get to go off for 2 weeks and experience, go and work in the world, really. And I was actually really lucky, because all my friends, they got stuck with really rubbish work experience places. Like some of them were in schools teaching and just not really interesting, or working in Sainsbury's and stuff like that. But I was really lucky, and I got to work for a local magazine, and that was such an amazing experience. I loved it so much because I got to interview different people. I got to write news stories, and it was just so much fun, and being part of that creative process as well. And it was really nice being in an environment where I felt like my voice was heard. So they would ask me for like my creative input. And then, what I really like about that whole process as well is, when you're coming up with an idea and it's just a thought, then you finally see it all come together, and you've got a printed copy of what was just a thought in the first instance. So that was really interesting. So I really knew I wanted to do journalism. So I went to college, did my A-levels. Then I went to university, and I studied journalism and media. I found out very, very quickly I did not want to be a journalist. Once I studied it.
Can we just stop there? Because you know what, right? I think what you just said there, I think so many people can probably relate to it. Like you build up this perception of what uni is gonna be like within the field that you might have an interest in. And you know how many people probably could vouch and say, yeah, I wanted to be an accountant, and then when I started, the accountancy degree, I quickly realized I don't want to be an accountant. You know how many people can probably vouch for that? And like it sounds like it obviously the same thing happened to you. So like at that point, I'm assuming that's within your first year.
It would I think it was between my first and second year. Because it was real. Like do you know what it is that I find really difficult is you go from doing A-levels where you just kind of have these basic subjects to going into something that is so like it can be quite niche and specific. So like I did journalism, but I'd never done actual real journalism aside from my placement, which was for 2 weeks, and it just sounds amazing, and it was amazing, but it's not like a real insight of doing it every single day for like 2 years. It's just not the same. And so yeah, it was just I remember my first lesson. We all sat down in the classroom, and the first thing my lecturer said to me, and I will never forget this, he said, there's like 100 of us in the lecture theatre. He said, so who in here wants to be a journalist? Everyone put their hand up. And then he said, okay, put your hand back down. And he said, only 10 of you will make it.
Wow.
And that just blew my mind. And at first I was like, who is this lecturer? I am paying £9,000 a year to be a journalist, and you're going to come and tell me only 10 of us will make it. And I was like, I'm going to make sure I'm one of those 10. Which is really interesting, but it just shows you how naive you can be coming into that situation.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you know what was crazy as well is that like a couple of episodes ago we spoke about Jamel's journey into marketing as well, and he was giving up numbers in terms of like getting into football at the time, and those odds sounds like it was much better than what Jamel's had in terms of making it into football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
but still, like, I could see what it can do to you in terms of your mentality at the time. You might be like, yeah, like this, I really want to get this. And even so, you quickly kind of realize this might not be for me. And obviously, being a lecturer at the university, he's probably seen it time on time after again, time and time again, noticing that, you know what, people, they don't might not have the same urge or passion for journalism as much as they did when they first started. Do you think there's anything that universities could do to help kind of change that, or do you reckon this is just part of their kind of like sieving technique?
I think it's not really the responsibility of universities. I think it's like a lot earlier than that. Like, I remember being in secondary school and I was deciding for my GCSEs. So I think you're like, if I remember correctly, about 14 when you're deciding your GCSEs. It's like, how at 14 are you supposed to know what you want to do in life? And my career advisor put so much pressure on me because she said to me, well, you need to start looking at universities because some universities require you to do certain GCSEs. So, for example, she was saying, if you want to be a pharmacist, then you need to take triple science because they need that. If you go to universities, they'll ask you, what did you get in chemistry? What did you get in biology? What did you get in physics? And I was like, I'm 14. How are you supposed to decide, and how are you supposed to know what you want to take? And then it's obviously then the next stage is like your A levels. You need to be looking at universities because then they'll require and then so what you're looking at when you're like 15, 16, maybe you're looking at colleges or sixth forms or whatever it might be. You need to decide then, and I feel like they put so much pressure on you that you need to know what you're doing right there and then. Whereas if someone told me when I was 14, it doesn't matter if you don't know. I would feel, because it takes so much stress and pressure
But
off you.
at the time, like what you're saying now, it sounds like what you're saying is that it still doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Because
$100.
You still manage to find your way. I think the pressure goes on there, but in your instance, then where you're saying the lecturer was already telling people, you know, only 10 of you are gonna make it. It's like, is that more pressure, or is that making it less pressure?
I think that was the first time in my life that someone actually told me the truth in terms of like my career, because you just go in there thinking, you're just so like naive, like I said, and like you just so focused, like this is what I'm going to be. But life doesn't always work out that way, and I think it's really important to let people know and let students know that doesn't always work out that way, and it's okay.
Yeah, no,
Because he
I
wasn't
agree.
saying it in a
Yeah.
negative way, like you're not going to make it because you're crap kind of thing. It's just the reality, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
think it's the same for a lot of people in your position now as well, because throughout school and then sixth form and college and then university, your path to your careers looks pretty straightforward and it's pretty clear. But yeah, in reality, it's not that. It's nowhere near that. And like you said, Vanessa, like people can be a bit naive to the situation in terms of, right, I'm going to study this at uni and then I'm going to get a job and that's going to be me for the rest of my life. So yeah, it's definitely a common thing, and it's, yeah, I don't know how you change that. I feel like it's just part of the experience.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think it is. I feel like there's other elements of it as well because you know different people learn in very much like different ways, right? So this would mean that I know, for example, I'm definitely one of these types of people. I'm just not a classroom type person. Do you know what I mean? So I would do really well in more practical lessons. Like I need to be very much hands-on. So like let's say I did an apprenticeship within a certain field that I felt like I wanted to be in. I feel like that'll be more beneficial to me than actually having to go to university and doing a degree because there's so much theory that can go behind something that yes, it's important, but there might not, but the grade in it might not be important for what it is that you're actually going to do. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
um, if we talk about like something like HR, for example, and then we go into Maslow's like human needs, like I don't know on a daily basis someone who works in HR is actually going to be looking at Maslow's hierarchy of human needs when it comes to making a decision about like just a day-to-day decision on HR. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like we see it all the time. Um, people get made redundant. People like certain things happen, and we don't end up quoting like certain theory models or anything like that. But yet that's something that's going to be drilled into you whilst you're at uni, and it might discourage you from actually being in that field when actually you could, on a practical level, it might be something that you might be really good at and might really enjoy. It's just that it's like the uni might kill it for you, if you know what I mean, like kill that joy for you.
Hmm.
It just happens. It just happens. But Ness,
Definitely part of it.
trust me, it is. But yeah, Ness, so this is your time, of course. So you're at uni now, and you know this is what your lecturers said. Um, at what point were you thinking, all right, marketing?
Well, I still wasn't really. I kind of just fell into marketing, but um, I just realized that journalism wasn't for me. I did enjoy it to a certain extent, but it kind of took away from. I really enjoyed it in my first years, like building on my skills. And I think it was like towards the end of my first year, going into my second year, that I realized I don't enjoy it as much as I used to, because what I really enjoyed is like meeting all these new people and interviewing and writing stories and and just hearing more about people. That's what I really enjoyed. And the more I learned about real life journalism and what it's like, I knew that it wasn't for me. Like, I knew sometimes you do have to sacrifice your morals, your values, in order to get the story. You would sometimes have to write about things that you don't believe in, you don't agree with, and I just wasn't willing to do that. um so the more I learned about it and what the industry was going to be like, I knew that it wasn't for me. So because I did a joint honors with media became my major. So I did a lot more modules in the media side of things, because I really enjoyed the theory and the research. um so yeah, so I got into that. But what I did try to do is make the most of my time at uni. So what I did do is a placement or some kind of work experience every summer. So I was really lucky enough to work for a PR agency in London, and I did that for about a month. And I had the best time, and I learned so much. Unfortunately, it wasn't paid, but they do like pay for your expenses and stuff like that. But I just had such a great experience, because we had like lots of different clients. So we had like a beer company, we had like, this was like years and years ago. So it was like right when first, I don't know if anyone uses like HelloFresh or like, you know, like boxes where your meal kind of kits get delivered. We had like a
Yeah.
steak company, like a restaurant that we worked with, and they started to do that, so it was quite a new thing at the time. We also worked with galleries, you know, for like opening exhibitions and stuff like that. So I had such a good time. I learned so much more about press releases, you know, events, and more like the public relations side. So that's what it kind of was. And I had such a good time doing that. And then it made me realize, okay, I really enjoyed that. Maybe I want to work in public relations. And that's when it started to open my mind up to the world of marketing, social media, because that is really where I learned lots more about social media. Because within my degree, it's like more copywriting than anything, and then the theory side of media and communication. So this, working in this PR agency, it opened me up to social media and marketing. And that's when I started to enjoy it. So I was like, okay, I had my head set on working in public relations. I also got another placement working for the NHS. So that was really interesting, because it's completely different from working for a PR agency in literally right in central London, right next to the London Eye. It was like beautiful. So it's like completely different, you know, working for the NHS. And I did learn so much. Like, I really did enjoy it. But it is completely, you know, the health sector and like learning like all the knowledge on the health sector was a little bit different. But I really valued my time there and had such a great time. And then
Wait,
I
wait, wait.
graduated.
Before you get into the graduation, I just want to just
Yeah,
touch on, obviously you spoke about placements, you spoke about internships. You also spoke about them being unpaid as well.
yeah.
Would you say what importance would you put on those experiences that you had? So someone else who's young right now, probably at university, probably not even thinking about placements and internships, would you recommend that they do unpaid work during their free time, whether it's whilst they're at uni or during the summer? And do you think those experiences helped you get your job that you have today, although they might not have been directly in relation to what you're doing now?
100%, it helped me get to where I am today. I think it's placement, work experience is incredibly important. I was really lucky. Once I graduated, I got a job within 6 months. And I think that's quite difficult to do. I think a lot of, because I saw it around me with all of my friends, not many people had placements when I did. And I remember I was working so hard because I had a weekend job. So I literally was working Monday to Friday at the PR agency, and then Saturday, Sunday, I was working my part-time job. And literally, I had no life. I didn't see my friends. I didn't see my family. I had a zero life. But it was definitely worth it because I saw my friends, they would literally use their summer break and go traveling and do all these different things. But I literally had my mind set on my end goal. I didn't want to be one of those people when I graduate and I'm just sitting there, okay, what do I do now? Because I saw it around me so much with all of like my friends and my classmates. They were so focused on their degree that they didn't think about life after their degree. And I feel like that's where a lot of students get stuck, because you're just so far focused, like, let me get my first, let me get my first, let me get my first. Then you get your first, and now what? You've got your degree, which is great. You've got a first class degree, amazing. But what skills do you have that you like play, like actually working skills? It's like completely different. And you know, I think the skills that you learn during your degree are transferable into the workplace, but you know, there's so much that I learned on my placements that I was really great actually for me to be able to bring back into my degree. So I learned all these skills. I learned so much in industry. So then when I did come back the next year, because I did all of my placements during summer. So when I did come back for the next year, I learned so much that I could put into my degree, and I actually got better grades from that. So I 100% recommend it. And I think it's like, I know it's difficult, but you do get so much time off from university. So when I was at university, we'd finish in April for or March, whenever Easter was, and then you don't go back to October. You've essentially got 6 months where you've got so much time. And yeah, it's great to have enjoy your life, yes, um, and go out, travel, but you know, taking a couple of weeks or even a month out just to really focus on what you want to do with your life. And just, it is just self-development, isn't it? Just looking and reflecting on what you've done at university, what you want to do, trying to find a placement, and just getting that real life work experience is just so important, I think.
Yeah,
No,
no, is
definitely
it that?
enough.
Yeah, go ahead, Jam.
So yeah, I was just gonna say like it sounds like I didn't go to uni, so I'm not too sure what a placement might have been like, but it sounds great in terms of work, relatable skills that you might pick up, but also the softer skills like settling into a new working environment, how processes work within different places, relationship building with people that are different ages and within different areas of work compared to you. So it all helps shape your path into your next step into your next career. And hopefully when people do find the job they're looking for, they can have more confidence when trying to settle in someone because they've got that experience beforehand.
Yeah, yeah, like you've hit the nail on the head there. And even for you, Jam, I know, Jam, you said that you didn't go to university or whatnot, but like even in your story, I'm seeing like a correlation where, after you finished your, playing football, you started your own thing. You started your own thing, which could is like you basically starting your own placement or internship by trying to grow a brand, and all the skills that you learned that helped you get your first job as well. So like,
Hmm.
my advice to anybody who's out there who's looking to get a job, do something. Either start your own thing so you can get your direct experience, or if not, try and learn from someone who's already doing it. And if it means doing it for free, do it for free. And this kind of coincides well with kind of what's happening at the agency at the moment. We are looking for a few interns. It is unpaid, but all expenses paid, like traveling and things like that, or any softwares that need to be used. And this is just a great time for you to be able to learn um any like new skills that you don't have already, and whether it's 1 month, 6 weeks, could be 6 months, the longer it is the better, but as long as you're able to, I guess, earn some money on the side, whether it's with a part-time job, and you can still squeeze in some kind of work experience through a placement or internship, it will definitely help you as building blocks in the long run, for sure, to get you to where you want to be.
Definitely, definitely, that's well put.
Yeah, man. And so Ness, like, so you did all the placements, and then you touched on graduating, and then where did we go from there?
Yeah, so I graduated, and I just kind of kept the part-time job that I had whilst the whole time I was at uni, just to kind of keep me floating by, and I managed to pick up some extra hours, so I ended up working full-time. Um, and then I was really, really lucky. My university, they had a great scheme which was called the Graduate Champion Scheme, which is they help essentially all the graduates find jobs. So you have to kind of apply. It's quite a long process, but they do help you find jobs. So they do CV support, interview support, and you kind of go through as if you were applying for a normal job. You go through like a whole interview process, and then they try to match you up with either the university will employ you, or they will find a local company in your area or the area of the university, and they will pay you. So the university pay you. It's really good. So they've got some really good connections with a lot of local companies. So although the university pay you, you go and work with a local company, and it's like a no expense to them. So it's really, really good system. So I managed to secure an internship through that, and I became a student liaison and communications graduate intern. And I worked at the university, and I essentially just created a whole social media strategy plan, lots of creatives for a part of the university. And it was only for 6 weeks, and it was part-time, but it was a great experience for me. And it was great because it was, although I worked within a team, I had a lot of creative control. Again, it was great to have my ideas listened to. I had a voice, and I had a lot of, like I said, creative control. So it was really good. And then through that job, I actually um, got referred to another position that came up within the university, and I managed to secure that job. And that was when I became a marketing and recruitment assistant. So that is how I got into a marketing job. And then I was in that role for about 10 months. Then I got promoted to the marketing and recruitment officer, and I was kind of just maternity cover for a year. And then someone left, and then I got the permanent job, which is the job that I'm in now.
Okay, very
So
interesting. So, um, so now I guess we know how you got to the point that you're at now. I'm always gonna have some questions. So I know there's some questions. Obviously, when you were, I guess, the recruitment or marketing and recruitment assistant, and you got the job full time. How, like, what was the perception for, well, as you were going into that role in versus the reality?
That's really interesting. I mean, I kind of went into this role. Well, my manager is actually amazing. And she was in the interview, she was so honest. She was like, marketing seems like it's fancy, it's glitz and glam, but there's a lot that goes behind that. And although it is all of those things, there's lots that go behind it. So she was like, you know, you were going to be doing events, so you might be running around, you might be sweating, you're going to have to be lifting heavy boxes. It's not, you know, a lot of people just look at marketing as the finished product or the finished event, but you've got to think about all the steps to get to that finished product or event. And you know, it is a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours, a lot of weekends that we work as well. So my manager was very, very honest, but I think it was the perfect role for me. And I say this all the time because I've interviewed for, I mean, I've had other people interview for that assistant role and I was on the panel. So I always tell them that it's honestly the best starting job to have, because you get to try out so many different aspects of marketing and you can kind of figure out what direction of marketing you want to go into, because like we said, marketing is just so broad. There's so many different things that you can get into within it. It's kind of just carving out your kind of specialism within marketing. So like we've said, there's the social media side that you can specialize in, there's the event side that you can specialize in, there's web, there's digital, there's content, there's comms, copywriting, there's just so much. So I just think that role was a perfect starting for me. I got to kind of make it my own and kind of carve out my kind of career path and what I enjoy more, what aspects of marketing I enjoy more than others. And so, but I'm kind of gone off track of it. So in terms of like your question, in terms of my perception, I kind of went in there just thinking, I just want to try everything and get involved in everything. And I did that. And my manager will tell you that I literally never said no to anything. Anything they asked me, if I want to get involved in extra hours, absolutely anything, I said yes. Just to kind of really, like I said, carve out what I want to do and find out, because it was like my first real job in a career path that I wanted to be in. It's finding out what I did enjoy, what I didn't enjoy, and find what's right for me. So because I went in quite blindly, it wasn't, nothing kind of was off-putting to me, or there was nothing that didn't seem right to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get you.
They're good trait. That's a good trait to have, though, in terms of being open-minded when going into into like a startup role. Just having that hunger and keenness to just take on anything. Like you may think you might know the role, but you don't know it until you kind of expose yourself to different situations, different people, different meetings, different projects. So it's just having that open mind to kind of, you don't want to become a yes man, but then you also want the exposure to different things. So it's kind of getting that balance right. But yeah, definitely recommend that attitude for anyone looking to get into the world of marketing. Just kind of just get as much exposure to different projects, different people as you can, and it will only help.
But yeah, I think when you're starting off, you kind of need to say yes to everything, because I feel like that's how you develop. And when you get to a certain point in your career, you can start saying no, but everyone starts at the bottom, don't they? And you know, you have to kind of be hungry and you just have to say, I would just, honestly, my best advice is just to say yes to everything, and you will get to a position eventually in your career where you have the opportunity to say no to certain things, but you only get to that place, I think, if you start off by saying yes to everything.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I agree with you guys, because it's the same. Like, I think it's the same throughout my career as well. When you first start, and you got to look at it. You got to look at yourself as like you're a sponge, and you just got to take in all this information, all this experiences, and then, as like what Vanessa says, that as you get older and so you start maturing, you're probably gonna start to see the things that you like and what you don't like, and then you'll be able to kind of carve your role into something that is more suited to you as a person and maybe your lifestyle. You could start having, let's say you become a parent and stuff like that. You know that you might not be able to do the overtime and stuff like that anymore. So you're gonna have to carve it and do the things that you kind of like. But at the beginning, you definitely have to soak everything in, and with that, you're gonna gain so much knowledge in that space. But then also, you'll be able to find ways to be able to carve it out into roles that you like to do, and then you can kind of go from there and kick on into your career, and then you can probably become a specialist in your field. So yeah, no, I think that's definitely some very good advice. And it was good to see that your manager as well kind of gave you a good uh she offered you a good perspective of the roles. So she was being honest. She told you it's not just glitz and glamour. There's a lot of, running around behind the scenes that go along with it. And you just kind of took it with both hands and you ran away with it. So I think that's also another kind of good thing that you highlighted there. Because I think a lot of people, I don't know if you get the same thing, Jam, like a lot of people, because you work in marketing, all three of us, sometimes when we get to see the fruits of our labor, people judge us and might be like, you guys don't work. Like you just at
Mhm.
events all the time, or you get to go to a festival, or you got to travel. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it's good that we are able to kind of offer these stories to people right now and just show them like it's not all glitz and glamour, and it's not all yeah, it's just not all glitz and glamour. There are times when you're probably going to events and you probably don't like anyone at the event. Do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? And you just got to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
on social networking or social media, sorry, it might look like, oh, he's away and he's doing this again. Oh, it's so unfair. Do you know what I mean? But it's not all roses. Do you know what I mean? But
Yes, and it's like people only show the highlights, especially when it comes to events, because events are a lot more stressful than what kind of people put out in terms of like you said, like the behind the scenes, the running around, it's people management, getting people in the right places at the right time, making sure products available and in the right places, and this all goes on before you kind of see the finished article. And even when the event's taking place, when you're working within it, you don't get to kind of soak it in and take it in because you're still working, you're still running around, you're still showing people to different places, and you kind of don't get to breathe until the event's over, which is a shame because you don't get to take in the event whilst it's at its peak and the energy is great. But yeah, that's just the reality of marketing and events. It may seem great on the outside, but when when you're within it, it definitely is stressful.
yeah, very much so, man, very much so. And I wanted to segue this next part into like traveling because I always say when it comes to marketing, you always kind of get to know the world a little bit. And Vanessa, have you had any opportunities within your workplace to be able to travel because of marketing, whether it's an event abroad or any just projects abroad that might, your university might be in? Um, yeah, have you had the opportunity?
Um, I have. I went to Amsterdam, which was lovely. The weather was dreadful. I'll never forget it. But it does, it isn't what you think it's going to be. I think it sounds great. You're going to get to travel. But it's never going to be the same because it's not a holiday. First of all, I want to make that clear because a lot of people think I get to travel, it's going to be so much fun, but it is not a holiday. You're not with your partner, you're not with your family, you're so it's never going to be a holiday. Um, and you probably end up working a lot. Because I remember I flew out on a Sunday and I didn't get back till the Saturday. So I've lost like two kind of weekends, and then I've lost the whole week. And your work doesn't stop. So just because you're away, so you've still got work to catch up on. So I have had the opportunity to travel. And I was meant to go to China, which I was really looking forward to. I was meant to go to China just before COVID hit. which was a
Mm.
shame. And I'm hoping I'll get to go. You know, there's lots of different projects, and we've got a campus opening in Dubai. So I would love to, you know, go to Dubai as part of that opportunity. Hopefully if the opportunity presents itself. But yeah, it's not, it sounds great, and it is a great experience. I love traveling personally anyway, you know, just meeting different cultures, and you still get to do that, you still get to network, you still get to meet different cultures, different people. So that's really fun. But you know, you're still working, you know, and you're not with your friends and your family, so it's very different.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I've gone through the same thing. I've traveled to different parts of the world, and you know, you still got your 9 to 5. Although you've traveled, you're still working, and you still got the workload. Whether you still have to communicate to people back in England, you still got deadlines that you need to meet on top of whatever it is that you need to do in that country at the same time as well. So it is a lot to juggle, but at the same time, I would definitely recommend it. You know, like if you do get the opportunity to do those things within your marketing field, go ahead and take it. And if you can work around like annual leave or holidays, and you know, if you want to stay out for an extra 2 days, try and do it. And if that means you have to pay for the hotel, try and do it as well, because yeah, like those are, you have to make the most of those opportunities 100%, because they don't always come around. Like we've seen the pandemic hit and you couldn't go to China, but I'm sure if you did go to China, the stories and experience that you would have had would have been unbelievable. So yeah, no, I think traveling is a good part. And again, it kind of goes back to saying yes to certain things, you know, early on in your career, and traveling as an opportunity. I think it's another thing that you should 100% be saying yes to. So yeah, man, it's a good thing. I have another question for you as well. I don't know, Jam, if you got any questions for Ness. Um, well, I have a question around kind of the projects that you've been involved in, and whether there were any projects that stand out for you, if it was really bad or really good, and maybe just talk us through just the experience of some of the projects that you've been involved in.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on, the list could go on, because I've been in my role for quite a few years now. And also, like I said, when I was an assistant, I said yes to everything. And so I've been involved in loads of different things. I've been involved in 2 TV campaigns, which is probably one of my biggest highlights of my job so far, well, in my particular role so far, because it's such an amazing experience, you know, working with agencies, production teams, you know, and literally, like I said, what I love about my job so much is, like I said, which is what I've said before, is having an idea as just a thought and then seeing that final product come through. Like, I love that so much. That is where I get my enjoyment. I don't need someone to tell me I've done a good job. I don't need someone to pat me on the back. I can see my hard work myself. You know, it comes from myself. So I literally just seeing, like I said, that thought or that creative idea, because I'm quite creative. So seeing that come through is just amazing. So, you know, working with production companies, directors, you know, we worked with some amazing directors, and, you know, having that idea like storyboarded, and then actually, you know, seeing that final advert in the cinema, because that's what, you know, we pay for it to go into the cinema. You know, I love Love Island, and, you know, I was watching Love Island, and to see it come on a Love Island, you know, to get that time slot on a Love Island ad break is really difficult. So when you see that campaign, and I remember the blood, sweat, tears, and the 14-hour working days, you know, to create these 1-minute adverts. You would not believe how many months it takes. You would not believe how many people it takes, how many hours it takes, and seeing it all come together. I just love. So working on the TV campaigns 100% have been amazing. I've also worked on some other projects, like we have like more local recruitment videos, so our facilities video. So we have a video of some of our art and design facilities. That was amazing. And we also have one of our performance arts facilities. So when I first, the art and design facilities video was one of the first videos I worked on, and I kind of more shadowed my colleague in terms of how to create this from scratch and what the process and what to do. And then I got to lead on the performance arts facilities video. So that was incredible, because it was literally me and my colleague sitting down, writing down buzzwords, you know, really kind of just be putting down all of our creative thoughts on a piece of paper. And then a month later or 6 weeks later, seeing that final product video. It was just such an amazing experience. And again, I was working with some really amazing people, you know, working with editors, and it was just being so amazing. So as you can tell, I'm really into digital marketing and videos. So I lead on that for my faculty. And I work on loads of videos, so I get to meet lots of people, and I interview lots of students, graduates, you name it. I interview lots of people. So those are some of the really exciting projects I've worked on. But I also lead on events for the faculty, so it's quite a good balance, because I get to do a lot of digital, but I also get to do a lot of events. So like I said, I lead on the open days, which is good because I'm constantly trying to innovate and make it the best open day it can be. So I'm working on lots of different ideas to constantly, because we have to keep up with competitors, and we want it to be honest, it's not even keeping up with competitors, it's about being ahead of them, you know. And I want to see them copying my ideas. I don't want to be copying theirs. So I always try to come up with something new and innovative, you know, to keep the audience engaged. So I do a lot of open days, and then I just try to think of all these different events that we can kind of put on. We have something called the Art and Design Degree Show, where we have our final year students showcase all of their work. So I lead on all the marketing for that, which is amazing opportunity. So I get to do all the branding, and some of it is just a thought it always is just a thought in my head. I get to pick the colors, the themes. I work on printed collateral, so like the brochures that we create to promote the event, the posters, and I work with a designer to get them designed, and they just bring my ideas to life, and it's just so amazing, you know, when you get it signed off. I also work on UCAS fairs, and it's just, yeah, it's just, I literally have so many projects, but that's just an idea of like some of the events that I do. And I literally go from the design process to the end, logistics, but I do a lot of the marketing, so email campaigns as well, you know, to promote the event, social media to promote the events, and yeah, there's just so many different projects. I don't know I don't know when to stop. So just tell me to shut up if I'm talking too much.
No, not at all, man. It's good to hear the passion in your voice. You can tell that you're really proud of all the projects that you've been involved in, and even you mentioned in the TV advert before, like Love Island and stuff like that. Like those are some great achievements, and those are some things that you can definitely say that you're proud of being a part of. And yeah, no, it's good. And I guess the next question is, and maybe this could be the final question, but um where do you go from here? Like, where do you see the next like 5 years? Like, do you want to be like marketing and recruitment director or chancellor? I don't know. How does it work? Where do you go from here?
uh, Very good question. Do you know what? I do love lots of aspects of my job. It is, and I feel like I'm very biased because obviously it's my job and I do enjoy it. And I've probably spoken a lot about the good parts of marketing, but everyone has parts of their jobs that they don't enjoy as much. And I don't want to make it seem like it's an easy job, because it really isn't. It's incredibly stressful, long hours. I work lots of weekends. And but do you know what, like I said, it makes it all worthwhile to me when I put on an event and I just walk past and I hear someone say this was like the best day, or I had so much fun today. That just brings so much joy to my life. That is all I need to hear. or just seeing people enjoy whatever activity it is, or see someone watch the TV ad and smile. I just love it so much, and seeing their reactions and stuff like that. So yeah, I do really enjoy my job. Obviously, I would love to progress, and I think in the next 5 years, I just want to continue to, I don't want to lose my passion, because I've seen it happen to so many people. As you get up the ladder, you can lose your passion, and you kind of step away from the creative side, and I don't want to lose that. So for example, like my managers and stuff, they kind of go to a lot more meetings, and they do a lot more reporting. They do a lot more like budgets and facts, figures in terms of like recruitment numbers, financial side of things, whereas I get to be really hands-on with the creative and the events, and I don't want to lose that. So I will continue to progress. I'm still saying yes to a lot of things. So I just want to continue to say yes, continue to grow, develop my skills, and just keep going up that ladder. And I definitely know marketing is right for me, so I just want to just keep developing and keep going.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
in a different way, but yeah, I just don't want to lose that passion and that creativity. I think that's really important.
by the sounds of things, right, it sounds like, there could be, it could be like I don't know, a Vanessa agency that could be on
Oh
the rise
wow.
as
Oh,
well.
okay.
I
I wasn't
only say that.
thinking that.
I only say that because of your need to be hands on, and you could get that opportunity and still be quite senior and grow at the same time, without having to report into anybody else. It's yours. So, and you get to mold it to however you want it to be. In all honesty, as we all are family here, we probably should have started our own agency a long time ago.
Yeah,
Who
it would
knows?
make sense. Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
It definitely does make sense. Then who knows what the future holds? It could happen in the future sometime soon. So, yeah, no, I think Vanessa, that was an amazing overview of your career and your jobs, and just the whole journey. Like, your journey has come so far, but yet you're still so young. I think it's amazing what you've achieved. The fact that you still have the passion as well. Um, you know, I think that's an amazing thing. It would be interesting to see like what your manager would have said to you if your manager had said to you when you first like did the interview. She said, "Ah, only 10% of people only last this job, for a year," and see how that would have turned out. But yeah, no, man, like you seem to know exactly what it is that you're striving for. You really enjoy your job still to this day, and I think that's good. Your role models to myself, to Jamal as well. So I think that's a good thing. I'm not sure, Jam, if you had any questions for Ness that we haven't really covered. I don't know.
So yeah, mine was just gonna be about next steps for Vanessa, but yeah, we just covered that. But yeah, it was great to have you on the pods and kind of hear about your career so far, and just hear your passion within marketing, and how much you like your job, because I feel like it's quite rare at the moment in terms of people enjoying what they do, and people kind of lose hope that a job can be enjoyable. So it's great to have people like yourself come and speak about the role they're in and how much they enjoy it, and the company they work for. So no, yeah, it's been great. It's been great to hear your story.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed coming on the podcast today. It's been great. And yeah, it's nice. When you actually sit here and you like list out everything you've done and your achievements, I feel like you don't always realize how much you've done. So this has been really
Mm.
interesting for myself as well, because I feel like what I've done, especially is my whole life, is I'm always constantly looking for the next step, what I'm doing next. And like, you don't always take that time to just sit there and think, you know what, look at how far you've come, and just really like like give yourself the flowers, you know. You don't need that from anyone else, because I feel like we're just constantly on the go, like looking for the next thing. Okay, you know, you don't have time to just sit there and reflect and think, oh my gosh, you know, I just pulled off this event, or I just pulled off this new TV campaign, you know, well done. Like, and just sitting there, you just constantly were on to the next thing. You know, I remember we filmed a TV ad, and then the next day I had an open day. So it's like I didn't even have time to sit and really reflect on everything we've just done. It's like you're just constantly on to the next thing. So yeah, I thought yeah.
That's good.
So again, I could talk forever, because I think it's also important to just want to add this last bit in, just because I think it's really important to talk about how, you know, marketing has changed as well. Because like I said, I don't want anyone to think I've just literally just sat here and said all the amazing things about, you know, about marketing. But I was in about when COVID hit, marketing changed. My job completely changed. So I went from being at work like almost 6 days a week, you know, most weeks, to then being at home. You know, you don't have your events anymore, that all got cancelled. Didn't have, and I had loads of events. I couldn't interview anyone. I couldn't do any digital like video content with anyone in person because of COVID. We had to resort to like digital events, which was brand new and a challenging time for everybody, because it was something we never did before. It was something we could not predict. So there have been really challenging times, and, you know, learning. And that's the thing about marketing as well. You have to learn to adapt very, very quickly. Like if I told you, right, TikTok, okay, it might have existed, but it's only become popular in the last year or two, maybe year. Before that, it wasn't there. And if I told you about Vine, some younger kids will probably be like, what is Vine? They wouldn't even know what it is. But you have to learn how to adapt very quickly in marketing, because things are constantly changing. You need to keep up to date with whatever's going on. There's always some kind of new Instagram feature, whether it's a reel or IGTV. Those never existed like 5-6 years ago. You know, like I said, TikTok's a new thing now. Podcasts are up and coming. In the last 2 years they've been more up and coming. Everyone's doing, or having a YouTube channel and being consistent on there. Like, you have to really be able to adapt, and it's constantly changing, and it's really challenging. So I know, like when COVID hit, I really struggled, because it felt like everything I loved about my job was taken away, because we physically were not able to do it anymore. Like, I love social media, but it's not my favorite part of my job, because I have to do all these events and I have to do like all these different aspects. So, you know, you kind of just left in a place where there was like nothing else to do, and you had to really adapt, had to learn how to do all these digital events, and it's really hard to connect with people online in the same way that you can at a physical event. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in, because I think it's really important to say like the challenges and, you know, that side of my job as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think there's going to be challenges in whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you decide, no matter what age you are, whatever path you're going to go down, there's going to be challenge and obstacles regardless. And you kind of have to find your meaning in those like challenges, because, you know, once you get that success, hopefully the success that you do achieve kind of cancels out some of those challenges or obstacles that you faced. You know, you hope that, okay, I'm gonna do extra hours now, I'm gonna have a lack of sleep, work 6 days, but once that advert out, I'm gonna be so proud of that advert. I'm not even gonna remember those nights that I didn't sleep, or I didn't, you know, that I was out, or I had an argument with the editor, or do you know what I mean, whatever it might be. You know, once you get to the final article, you want the achievement to kind of cancel that out. And if it doesn't do that, then you might just be in the wrong job. But we're just happy that for you, Ness, it works for you. And I know you have your ups and your downs, and some weeks are better than others, which comes with anything. It's life. It's normal, you know. And yeah, for us, it's just I guess it's refreshing to hear the passion coming through your voice, as you talk about your whole journey and all your achievements. So yeah, I think from both me and Jam, I just want to thank you for coming on to the podcast. Don't be a stranger. You're always welcome to come back on. I'm sure we will 100% have you on again to discuss maybe another topic. And Jam, I can't lie, I think we got a topic for next week. It just kind of brought it back. Ness said, "Do it for the Vine," or she said Vine, and people won't know what Vine is. And 100% people will say, "Do it for the Vine" before they were doing it for the gram.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
so true.
And we could just take some people back down memory lane in terms of social media, man. I'm
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
sure,
even
agree.
just talking about how it's evolved, like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
constantly evolving, constantly changing. Like I remember when Facebook was like the, I don't even know if it is anymore. I'm sure Instagram's like the leading social media platform at the moment. I don't know, the numbers are constantly changing, but I'm sure it was Facebook at one point, and it could be TikTok. Like it's constantly changing. There's always something new. You know, there was MySpace.
MySpace,
Yeah, we
Bebo, MSN,
MSN, yeah.
High Five. There was so much.
Yeah.
There was so many, and it'd be good to just take people back through that time
Mm.
because before it
We've
ever
all had,
touched corporate, gone.
sorry, I was gonna say we've all had different entry points into what our first social media platform was. So yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be good to just kind of uncover that and what it was and the ages we were on it, and also to link that to our we both got kids, so our kids then and our opinions of them being on socials and when you kind of you expose them to their own accounts and stuff like that. But yeah,
100%.
I
I
look forward
mean,
to that one.
yeah,
I'll be
100%, and we can
listening.
even we could even go into the future as well because
Yeah.
like you mentioned, Jam, like our kids are gonna want to be on social media soon, and from there, where could it be in the next 5, 10 years
Hmm.
when they actually ask the question like, Dad, I want to be on whatever metaverse, Gram
Yeah.
it might be. So yeah, very interesting. But yeah, man, I think we can wrap it up there. Vanessa, thank you very much for
Thank
jumping
you.
on.
Thank you both. Had the best time.
Amazing, amazing. And Jam, thank you as well. And yeah, man, we out. Peace, love.